doctor. Well, well, well. Let's begin the show. Now, as you know by now, at this very moment, if you're not aware, China, major seaport, the most largest one, can't pronounce it, but you can look it up yourself, just making you aware, and there it is right there. The major port is closed down due to the Delta variant. Now, what all the real spiritual channels stand up, people that's talking about stuff that matters. If you follow people like me and other guys that's keeping you aware of things, we've been telling you to lay low on the poultry. What is the poultry? The poultry is the meat. The other day, I forgot to mention and post rather that chicken is on recall. Chicken is on recall at this very moment. You know why chicken is on recall? Because of this virus. Now, what is going on at this very moment is going to be another shutdown. What the shutdown is going to, pertain to is food. At this very moment, there will be a shortage on a lot of things. This is the whole point of this whole situation with this vodka shots. You gotta stay woke to the bullshit, people. I mean, seriously. Now, another thing that's going to distract you is going to be, someone other than 6ix9ine and this Wack 100 case. It's going to distract. It's going to be something big. One of them is going to jail or one of them is going to die. That's the only explanation that's going to come out of this distraction that they're trying to do with this Tekashi 6ix9ine and Wack 100 situation. And this dude named Trav, he's going to crash himself out. He wants to crash out to prove a point. Kids, what I always tell you, do not entertain these nut jobs. Now, back to what I was saying. Do not, and I repeat, do not drink shots of vodka. And if you follow my channel, you know what I mean. I don't actually mean shots of vodka. I mean shots of vodka. Now, with this video is just telling people and informing you guys what's going on. Do more research on your own. There is a recall on chicken. Hope you haven't been eating chicken. But no, seriously, all jokes aside, I advise every last one of you, as soon as you finish watching this video, go stock up on food. Now, although what I just said, you know what not to get. Things are about to be real spooky, ladies and gentlemen. Things are about to get very spooky. This just happened. A lot of other people are going to start talking about it, but I decided to inform you on my channel as well. I'm still going to do the video about exposing Black Lives Matter. And deep fakes. That's something that's been going on for a while. And I will be talking about the zombie quote-unquote apocalypse. It's not going to be like Walking Dead, but all these vodka shots the variants and 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 the variants, and it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And it's going to mutate into something very, 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 very sinister. I'm going to say this and I'm going to say this again, kids and ladies and gentlemen. Stock up on food. Stock up on matches. Stock up on lighters. Stock up on gasoline. Stock up on all necessities. Because what this just happened, and China is going through a lot right now. And more things. And China, we get a lot of our materials from China. So, with that being said, stay woke to the bullshit.
So China's second largest port in the eastern city of Ningbo halted operations on Wednesday after an employee tested positive for coronavirus. The shutdown could add more pressure to strained global supply chains. Chinese ports are still working to recover from a typhoon in July and the shutdown of the Yantian port in May after a coronavirus infection. The Ningbo port is particularly crucial to global trade, handling 19 million shipping containers so far this year through July. And for more on that story, let's bring in Fabian Kretschmer, journalist in Beijing. Good to have you with us, Fabian. How serious are these new COVID-19 outbreaks in China?
That's a very interesting question. Actually, if you only look at the absolute numbers, then the outbreaks don't seem dangerous at all, because you have maybe 100 local infections on a daily basis and 1.4 billion Chinese people living in the country. But it's the first time since roughly a year that an infection cluster has spread from north to south. Basically, more than half of the provinces have registered infections. And just one case is enough for the authorities to shut down a whole port because they have a really very strict zero COVID strategy. Just in the last days, I visited one of the residential compounds here in Beijing that was also sealed off only because of one case. And there are roughly 24 high-rise apartment buildings. So tens of thousands of people cannot leave their buildings only because of one infection. So, yeah, it's definitely very serious in that regard.
Right. I mean, you just mentioned Beijing's zero-COVID strategy. While, of course, it is commendable to try and curb the spread of the virus as soon as possible, it must have an impact on the Chinese economy.
Yeah, that's a very complex question, because last year the zero-COVID strategy turned out to be very successful also for the economy. I mean, China was growing because you had a virus-free zone, so to speak, within the country. Factories could work at normal capacity. You had a complete supply chain in the country. However, the pandemic, it's not a 100-meter sprint, it's a marathon. And the strategy that was successful last year can be a burden now, because the economic costs are much higher. Now you have the Delta mutation, and the risk, despite the very strict quarantine system of local infections and also local infections that spread throughout the whole country, are much higher. And for every case, you have to shut down a factory, you have to shut down a port. In May, for example, they had to shut down the Yantian port near Shenzhen, and that was basically the biggest incident disrupting global supply chains that had a bigger impact even than the incident at the Suez Canal. So at some point, it will become a problem. However, they are trapped in this strategy, not only because they don't trust their domestically produced vaccines, also because of the political propaganda. Last year, they already propagated the victory against the virus, and now that rhetoric leaves them not so much space for an exit strategy.
Right, so the virus is not playing ball there. Fabian Kretschmer in Beijing, thank you so much. And of course, we all know when China sneezes, the whole world is catching the flu. So Konrad Busen joining me in Frankfurt now. What does all of this mean for businesses and for consumers here in Europe?
Well, Monica, I can tell you what it means. I went to an IKEA store last week, not on business, but, you know, to shop for stuff. And about 1/3 of the products that an IKEA store in Germany usually sells is not available. And the staff told me that the things are either stuck on a container ship somewhere between China and Germany, or when somewhere in the world a factory has a corona case, it often closes down immediately, so it can't deliver. So we're really talking about ripple effects in the global supply chains here. Should Germany try to become more independent from all this? A majority of economists here in Germany are convinced that this is not a viable way. Not buying stuff from China would make consumer prices much higher here in Germany. And let's not forget, Germany's economy is one of the most interconnected worldwide. The exporters need the global supply and delivery chains.
Shut the front door.